This video is going to be all about revamping the teepee shelter. Shelter is nearly complete. Here's my sleeping system. Welcome back to JJW Outdoors. Justin here, and on today's adventure we are going to be out in the woods for a few days in a row. I am really excited about this. I finally had time off, a way to get out here and do this. I am super excited about it. So I've been talking to some people around the area, some kids and whatnot, and they really want to see a build. So as you can see, I'm all decked out. I got a bunch of gear with me. I have one piece of gear that I did not hook up to the backpack that I have hidden right now because it's going to be a special review video. I am really excited about this video. Anyways, we're at the old teepee shelter, but there are some issues at the teepee shelter. Let me sit down and explain what's going on. All right, here is the deal. As you can see, we're obviously at the teepee shelter, like I said earlier. Now, I have a lean-to right here with a bed. Seems to be pretty decent still, which is good, but around me we have a little bit of issues with this place. This video is gonna be all about revamping the teepee shelter. Now, I'm telling you, I am super excited about this. I hope you are too. Let me know in the comments below what I should really do to the actual teepee shelter itself. I'm gonna show you in a minute what is going on, why we need to redo it. And this teepee shelter has been up for almost 3 years now, which is pretty crazy. It probably is close to 3 years. The walls have been up for 2 years. That's been up for 2 years. But I'll show you all that in just a minute. So anyways, this is gonna be a revamp of the teepee shelter. I hope you're gonna enjoy this video. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, because I think you're really gonna like this build. We're gonna redo a lot of it. This lean-to is actually very decent right now. We're not going to do too much to this, but as you can see, there's a couple of these things that just need to be replaced. So that's what we're going to do. Let me show you over here. The first task of the day is to get a lot of this brush cleaned up and get the walls kind of back up. You can see they obviously fell down. So when we first did this, I didn't have the old bank line. I only use this stuff. As you can see, it's pretty rotten. We're actually going to get rid of a lot of stuff, get it out of the woods. But you can see here, a lot of it stretched, and this is just broken. Look at that, just rotten. So we're going to re-put stakes in the ground, move all these logs, and get this wall back up into shape. Now this side over here is not too bad. This side definitely fell down a little bit. And we got a couple sticks. Like, this is a new branch. I never put that there. That is something totally new. A lot of this stuff is totally new. We're gonna look up there for some deadfall, which honestly I really don't see much. That little tree there we're gonna get rid of. We are going to make our bench down here again. I want to get this floor remade because some of these I am sure are just rotten right up there. So that is the goal for this teepee shelter series. I am going to be rebuilding the teepee shelter. That is the teepee shelter. Now, I showed it, but I never showed how I fully built this thing because that was before the YouTube days. So let me show you what's going on here. I have a beautiful doorway. As you see inside of there, we got our beautiful room. Inside of there, the bugs and caterpillars and nests and spiders and everything are inside of there right now. I really don't want to sleep with those. So for today's agenda, like I said, we are mainly going to be cleaning this up, getting these walls, and then I'm going to start taking off all this brush on the outside because I want to get these tarps off of here and see what I'm really working with. Some of those sticks that we put in there, they finally rotted, they're kind of just falling apart. So that is the goal for this video. All of that said, I am telling you right now, this is going to be a fun, interesting, beautiful video. I want to get this wall set up first. And I want to see how my log's doing here. See if I can lift that up, reattach it with some bank lines. Then we're going to actually set up a shelter right here. Because I have Pierre, I'm not actually going to sleep under the lean-to because there's really not enough room for him, and I want to keep him extra warm tonight. So we're going to rebuild this wall. We're going to set a tarp up from this tree kind of going back. We're going to get rid of our beautiful wall here to have my fireplace be rebuilt. We're actually going to move it back a little bit and put a brand new wall on. It is going to be a fun adventure. So let's start working on this wall. Pretty much got it down all the way down to the bottom. We're gonna get rid of a lot of these. They're just breaking, rotting, and it's just starting to fall apart. So I want this guy to come this way, like this, and we gotta go cut some stakes because these stakes are no good. I like where the wall's at right here. We're gonna leave it here, but we're gonna make it way tighter, and we're gonna add more stakes than what I had last time. That's the plan. Let's go cut some stakes. So for some stakes, I think I want to get some live green wood. It won't rot as much, plus this forest is full of them. I got my shovel with serrated edges, I got my saw, and I have my knife. I got plenty of cutting tools to come out here and just take care of whatever I need. Now, in saying all that, peeps are going this way, buddy, come on, come on. In saying all that, there's a trail over here. I'm walking on a trail right now. I use this trail quite often, playing in the woods and whatnot. That's why I built the teepee shelter off the side. I can get to it easy and bring family and friends. But a lot of these trees on the edge need to be cut down along this trail. So those are gonna be my live trees that I'm actually going to cut down. A lot of stuff like this, a lot of stuff like this, little stuff. We're just gonna open up this trail just a little bit more so I can get some bigger vehicles through here, because I would love to bring some people to the teepee shelter. All right, anyways, that is going to be the plan. Let's just cut down some stuff, get some stakes, and build. Now that I got a few of these puppies done, I'm gonna look at a few of these. This guy right here. Now I'm gonna take this end. I'm not gonna be able to show it very good, but I'm gonna shave it down to a point, just this end. So how to do that? I'm just gonna take it like this, set it on the ground. That's it. And just like that, you're gonna start seeing a point happening. And then we're gonna measure probably up to here, and we're gonna drive it in the ground about up to here, because our wall is gonna be about this high. Then we're gonna lash it off. So I'm gonna make some of these up, and then I'll get back to you. I'm gonna start on the outside in this corner right here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it up against the stick first on the back side. I'm gonna drive it in on the angle. And then in doing that, now that I got it in a little bit, I'm gonna put it up just like this. What that did is it drove it that way a little bit and then forced it to go this way. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit it in for a while until it feels pretty solid, and then I start hitting. And that is gonna slowly start going into the ground. It is very windy out today. Show you what I did. Put one stake in here, obviously, one in here, and a little one over here, but I am going to put another one right here. Now, we need to make our wall. So we got a thick one on the bottom that is pretty rotted, but that is okay because it's on the bottom. So now we're going to pick up our next one, which is this one. Now when doing this, you want to line them up. You want to make sure they're kind of the same thickness. Let me get you over here and show what I'm talking about. Over here, got a stake in, they're both touching. But this gets a little bit thicker right here, and this gets thinner. It's not the biggest deal as long as this side is touching, because we're gonna put another stake in here and we're gonna sandwich them together. So this one's just gonna sandwich like that, and it'll be okay. It is definitely windy out here today. A fire might be pushing it, but as long as I get this wall up, it'll stop most of the wind from hitting the fire, so we're gonna see. Had to make myself a new baton stick because I broke the other one already, but that is okay. So now we're gonna make 3 more stakes for the other 3, but I want to put another log on here right now. So I put the big side over here. I put the big side over here last time, so now I'm gonna alternate them. So the big side is going that way and the small side is going this way, and then I'm gonna flip-flop the next one as well. But that is actually looking good right there. I like that. I might put a couple small stakes in here in the front. Just little ones that go on the ground about that far. And yeah, it's coming along. This one's gonna be a big heavy duty stake that I wanna put here in the middle. We're gonna sandwich these 2 together. And now I want a couple more on the bottom, of course. Let's do it. Stick it in the ground like that and hit it. I'll bring it up like this and hit it again. Then I want to bring it right up. It's going to fall right now. There we go. Now it's in the ground. Now I'm going to get some string. I'm actually going to tie these close together. I'm going to hit this down a little bit. Just make it so it don't move on you as much. Pretty much you're tying an overhand knot, you're just looping it. It's going to get tight on you like that. We'll make it go around like this. And we're going to tie it off way up here. Doing a clove hitch right on the top. If you don't know how to tie those 2 knots, go look at my knots playlist. And that'll show you how to do it. So now it's going to keep it upright for me. So now I can take this in my hands like this and I can just hit it. And I've already gone on the ground probably 5 inches. So that is what I'm going to continue doing. I'm going to get another one over there. I'm going to leave the one side open for right now, so I can kind of slide the logs in and it'll make it a little easier for me. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I've been using this block right here to chop on to make myself a point. See, this one's pretty rotten. This is the one we had in the ground before. The ground just ate it away. But there's still some left down here. We're gonna chop away the dead stuff. Just like that, we're gonna reuse it. So I've been using the chopping block here for that, and obviously as a footstool like I just showed you. Okay, so I showed you how to use the string method to kind of hold together, but it still wobbles a little bit. So now I'm gonna show you how to use a fork. So I found a dead log. This is obviously pine with a fork in it. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this fork and I'm gonna put our branch that we're using inside of it, measure it out, so it kind of goes in the ground about right there, just like that. And I'm gonna force it down like this, and as you can see, wobbles back and forth a little bit, but now it's steady. That ain't going anywhere. So now I can take my block like this, and I can take my hammer obviously is this. Hang on a second. Peachy boys, you over here? Here. Good boy. Stay around. Now I can take this and hit it. You see it wobbles on me a little bit, came towards me. I ain't worried about that. You can also take another one and force it this way to force it towards the tree, or you can do this method again. So I'm gonna take my rope, and this time I'm going to tie my knot on the live tree here, which is gonna be simple. Couple wraps, tighten it down like that, come this way, tie a quill hitch. One there, and one there. Now we can address the quill hitch, just like this. Addressing means to just lock it down, get it nice and tight. Now, you can't come this way very easily. You can also just take this, bring it right this way, tie a half hitch. This is mainly for safety. Okay, you're hitting on it, you don't know where you're gonna go, you're out in the woods, you don't know what's going on. Well, now you're a little bit safer because now it's not moving at all. You can see it's not moving. Now I can hit real hard and my stick is gonna break, but that's okay. So not only is it wedged this way in the ground, it's also tied off and wedged this way in the ground. So now when I'm hitting it, it's gonna keep going. My log's starting to break a little bit. There we go. And that is in the ground far enough. So now we can take our half hitch out right here. Take our stick out right here. And we're golden. That is in the ground. That ain't going nowhere. Okay. Now that that's done, now we just gotta build our wall up. Okay, I'm gonna choose. And just like that, the wall is coming together. They're definitely heavy, so you just be careful. And Peachy boys, get down. Good boy. What I want to do next is I actually want to tie off this side. I'm tie it off real tight. So that leads us to tying the Canadian jam knot. Now I've tied the Canadian jam knot a few times on the YouTube channel, but I haven't showed it very thorough. Let me know if you want me to do a full video on actually tying the Canadian jam knot. A lot of this place is put together by its Canadian jam knot. I'm with some bank line and we're gonna tie it up. So here's bank line. Bank line is a tarred material, and what that means is there's a little bit of tar on the outside of this so it won't rot. It actually melts. It's like candle wax actually, but it's super thick material. This is number 36 bank line. That's diameter is 36. To tie a Canadian jam knot, we are going to create a loop like this and tie an overhand knot. Super simple, just like that. Now we're going to create another loop, and instead of tying the tail, passing the tail end through, you're going to pass a bite through this way, just like that. And I can pull it tight, kind of get it to where the knot is towards the bottom like that. So this knot and this knot are close, because what happens once you start pulling this tight, this is actually going to slip a little bit and it's going to stop on this knot. That's why it's a Canadian jam knot. It's going to jam on itself. So now you take this loop and you're actually going to pass this entire bank line once you go around your object through here and create another loop, and you're going to pull it tight, which I'll show you all that right over here. We're going to take our loop we just made, we're just going to pass it right around like this. We're going to take our entire thing through our loop that we just created. What you have left is you actually have your loop that goes around with another loop attaching to here. Now you're going to pull it tight so the loop is tight just like that. Then it's going It's gonna keep slipping on itself like this, and it's gonna keep getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So now you can actually take a stick, put it through here, but I'm just gonna use my hand, kind of hold on to it. You can see, you can hear it getting tighter. Just like that. That is guitar string tight. Now I'm just gonna do one because I'm actually gonna put another log on top here and do another one on top of it. So now we can just take our knife and leave a little bit of tail, cut it off, because we're actually gonna take our tail and create another loop like this, another knot, overhand knot. We're just gonna tie it tight like that, pull it up against your other knot, and you're good to go. So that is actually how you tie the Canadian jam knot. I hope you like that. Make sure you go try this, try to do this yourself, because it looks a bit complicated, but it really isn't. You're gonna find it's pretty easy. Now that that's done, we're actually gonna do this one as well, and then we're gonna find another stake for this side, and then we're gonna put that last log there on top. And look at how beautiful our wall turned out. Then we're gonna work on that side. That took a little bit to do, but it wasn't too bad. Now we're just gonna take our last little log. I know, Pace Boys, you're all stuck, aren't you? Hold on, I'll be right there. Now we're gonna take our last one, and we're actually gonna set it up on the string. So it's not gonna be under the string, which is not a big deal. The sticks are gonna hold together either way, so I ain't really worried about it. You can see how tight that is. That ain't going anywhere. So that wall is officially done. Now I left the sticks a little bit long, as you can see here. I could always put a few more logs on there. I ain't really worried about it, so I don't think I'm going to. Not at this point, but this is a strong wall. I could stand on this wall, no problem at all. That's exciting. This wall over here has definitely seen better days. We're gonna toss that way. I have a few more logs you can see over there. I'm gonna worry about those later. I think half of those are gonna be firewood. This wall really isn't too bad. I think I'm just gonna add some more on this wall. This thing needs to go. This thing is rotten. Hardcore rotten. Rotten, twisted, bent. But luckily, I have this tree here, and I have that tree there, which kind of locks it together. So now, since that don't look too bad like that, how's my stake? This stake definitely needs to be replaced. I think I'm gonna leave it, and I'm gonna drive another stake in here and drive another stake in here and kind of pinch it together a little bit. I almost want this to come together some more though, but I think we're good. And we're gonna lay a couple logs on top of that. Careful, buddy. What a dog. He's just hippity hopping up on everything. Yeah, let's do that. We're just gonna go get a couple more logs and I'm just gonna lay them up here. These are just some old logs I had laying down on the ground. To make a wall, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, look at that. It don't have to be the most perfectest logs in the world. It just needs to lay up there. So I think I'm gonna drive a stake in here to hold it, tie it off to this. I hate to tie it off to the tree, but I think I'm gonna put another stake in here, another stake in here, kind of sandwich it, and I'm just gonna leave that end. But that is not bad right there. I like it. job, Pete. Alright, as you can see here, I kind of just used that Y branch for my corner for a minute until I get it tied. I tied a Canadian jam knot here. This isn't going anywhere. And as you can see under there, peeps, the air barrier is going to get covered in stuff, but that's okay. We got a bunch of firewood. This was my smaller lean-to for all of my firewood. You can actually go check out all these videos and how I made that separate, this separate, that separate, and that separate. And then you can also see a part of a video on how I made this separate, but we never ended up finishing it for some reason. We're crazy. And then I came out here and we worked on these two bottom log walls right down there. Now I wanted to put a gate here and another wall there. I don't know if I'm gonna do that yet, but that might be the revamping of the teepee shelter once we get that replaced, a little bit of it. So as of right now, you can see I kind of got my two walls mainly completed. I got two stakes put in there, tied off, so it kind of keeps that wall back together. I ain't gonna worry about fixing that middle portion too much. This is what I'm working on next. So as you can see, I got a bunch of stuff under here. So I'm gonna find myself another big long log, and I'm probably gonna attach it to this tree, going up under here and attached to this tree, and it's going to kind of be the middle support area along with that part. So let's see. Here we go. That looks a whole lot better. I think I'm going to tie this off to here, move this Y back there, and just leave the Y with holding that one part up. Take it around your object, pass it all the way through this, hold it kind of like this, then I'm going to hold this up in the body, get my Y out of here, and just like that, we have tied a Canadian jam knot. So now, like I said, I'm just going to take this Y that I've been using. I'm going to lift this up like this. I'm going to force it to kind of go this way, like that. And this is going to do its own work. So not only is it forcing it this way, it's also forcing this stick in the ground, and that is not going anywhere. It's kind of taking a lot of sticks right off of here and resting it right on here, which is okay. So I hope this part wasn't too boring for you. I know it was a little bit of just hurry up, fix it. I didn't explain too much of what I was doing, but I have explained it in the past in all my other videos, so make sure you go watch my teepee shelter playlist. Plus, you're gonna find all these videos that I'm creating at the teepee shelter back inside that playlist as well. It's gonna be a revamp. It's gonna be named Revamp. It's gonna be awesome. All right, got that. As you can see here, I got a bunch of firewood already collected from the past. I'm gonna use probably a lot of this tonight, but yeah, this is gonna be nice. Now nothing's really holding on to this one, which is okay, because I'm gonna add on to this anyways. I'm gonna put some longer sticks coming this way, And it's gonna kind of just hold up all of our back wall back there. But I'm happy with this. This one I can use for a different building later. A lot of this stuff here, I think I'm just gonna toss on top. A lot of this little stuff right on top. So you'll put all that on there like that, kind of hold it down a little bit. As you can see, I kind of started getting the fire pit around. Now, I say this very loosely. If you try to start a fire right here, not only is it gonna light my wall on fire, all of these leaves are gonna burn. So I kind of want to get this cleaned up a little bit. I'm gonna keep some bark over there in the corner so I can use it for the back wall. So I don't, as you can see, I kind of lit it on fire once before. But we're just gonna push all this back there like this. We're gonna get this whole area cleaned up. Do it. I hope you're enjoying this little adventure as of right now. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot of information, but I am trying my best here. Let me know if I can do it any different in the comments below. I wanted to show you this really quick. I have my spool on that with some string that I'm using that I can just unspool if I want to, or I can spool it all up if I want to. But yeah, it's just kind of a little handy dandy little hook right there, and it's not laying on the ground so I lose it. It's up where I can see it. It's kind of nice. Plus, as you already saw over here, I have my backpack right here, which I need to get Pierre some water, me some water. I have Pierre's big blanket in here, and I have my bedding material somewhere else, which I'll show you in just a little bit. But I think what we're gonna do next is we're gonna get my tarp spread out here and get the fireplace around. I bring this one for Pierre because he doesn't like the silky feeling of my blankets. So of my sleeping bag, I should say. I sleep with this one at home, so that's why I brought it. So I went to online where I get my paracord, my bank line. I got this knife. I get a lot of my stuff off of the Pathfinder School. Now the Pathfinder School is obviously a school that teaches you a lot about bushcraft. Now if you know Dave Canterbury, this is all his stuff. He designed all this stuff. He came up with all this stuff. This is his tarp. Now this is a heavier duty tarp. It is reflective on the inside of the tarp and the bag. I threw my own stakes in here. I did recently just purchase some stakes from his shop though that are coming in. They're a little bit smaller than these ones. But he does a great job if you ever want to learn more about bushcraft, survival, the works. He is the guy to go talk to. He is amazing. This is what we're going to use for our shelter tonight, along with my other bedding material. But I needed to get out. I want this out. I'm starting to sweat a little bit, so that's not good. I want to get myself dry. I can hang that up right here. I have my flashlights in here, fire starter stuff in here, other stuff in here as well. I'm looking for Pierre's little water dish right now. Not seeing it, so we're just gonna use this. This here that I've been using as well is Pathfinder. Same with the cup. This comes together like this. He uses this way for all kinds of neat stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited to use all this. But right now, Pierre's gonna drink out of this. All right, peeps, come. I just went for a very long hike. Cars parked way that way. I had to go hike because I forgot my camera gear. Can't film for you if my battery's dead, right? I have a bunch of GoPro batteries. Whoops. I got a bunch of GoPro batteries. Charger. I brought the charger that's in here, but I forgot the camera batteries. Oh man. So I just hiked. Pierre and I took off. I know these woods very well, and I just straight through the woods, didn't like no trail to the car. Anyways, that's what I was looking for. So now I can change my battery. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was looking for my gloves as well. No gloves. I left those at home. I mean, why not, right? I made it this far without gloves. Who needs gloves? So I took a little bit of a break, went for a hike, which is not really a break, but I went for a long hike. Now I'm back. Let's get some stuff done. I see a little tree right here that needs to be cut down. I just want to get this place cleaned up, so that's what we're working on. Whew, windy. I'm gonna try to cut it really flush at the bottom because I don't really want it here and it's in my way. There we go. If you want to buy this saw, I highly recommend it. It's the Silky Big Boy. I use the Baco Laplander. It's in my bag, but for bigger stuff, this thing right here is amazing. I went with the Baco because you can bend it and it will not break. I highly recommend, if you need a little saw, a Baco Laplander. Now this, if you were to bend the tip, they are known to break. Just keep that in mind. But this, you strike a fire starter on the back of it, a ferro rod. You can take rock, flint, hit against it, make sparks, start a fire that way. This is more versatile than the other one. Also, the Silky Big Boy comes with a nice sheath, just like this. Kind of holds together. I personally like to keep it on the outside of my backpack. Oop, I have to do it on the other side. But I tuck it in with my water bottle right here. Right now I got spork and stuff on this side. But I'll tuck it right on the outside like this. Make this strap go around it. Keeps it nice and simple right on the outside. That's all I'm gonna do for a while. I just took the shovel, scraped it all this way, put it right there. I cut this clean right here. It was sticking out that far. That was no go. I have some old cinder blocks here that I want to move. I want to get some of this trimmed up so I get this wall back. I got a couple chairs out here. I'm going to put it nice and neat under here. I would like to build this wall up further as well in the future. Just kind of build this right up with our beautiful cover right there. Overall, the teepee shelter is coming back together. It's coming back alive, and I'm so excited about this. All right, I think it's time to go for a little bit of a walk, see if I can find some firewood, see if I can find some big stuff that I can knock down to make some more wall material, because I'd love to put one more on here and one on here. So that's what I kind of want to look for, something like that. This stuff is just too rotten down there, just keeps falling apart, and I don't really want to use all that. So that is the plan. Let's go look for some stuff. Come on. No, that wall is a lot better now. I did a couple different things. I raked up a lot of those leaves and I put it on top of our shelter. It looks way better than what it did, covering up more of those logs. As you can see, I got a very good portion going over here. Got a few more I can rake up here, but I ain't really worried about too much. I'm gonna get those cinder blocks moved, find a couple logs to go on that wall. Other than that, I feel really good at what was accomplished today. Sun's starting to go down. I want to get my tarp shelter set up, and then as you can see, I did this as well. I found some sticks, threw some sticks on there. I want to get these leaves picked up on all those leaves there, because it's windy today. Like I said, I don't want any chance of getting the teepee caught on fire. I want to revamp it, but I don't want to burn it up. But Pizza Boys has been helping me a lot. He's all kinds of excited. Oh, beautiful. It's all coming along perfectly. I would have slept under there tonight, but since Pierre's here, this bed's not long enough for the both of us. So I think I'm just gonna sleep right on the ground next to the fire, kind of cowboy camping it. Alright, buddy, come on. Now let me move all this. As you can see, got my fireplace all cleaned up. Got some bricks back there to kind of stop the fire a little bit. Some very wet bark to stop the fire from catching on my wall again like last time. Good job, buddy. But I wanna tuck a lot of those bricks up there. We're gonna have my fire pit be right here. Shelter is gonna be right there. We're actually gonna sleep right here where the wood is, but that's no problem because that wood's gonna be gone here in a minute. But I got some littles, got some mediums, and I got lots of bigs back there. We are all set for a fire. Wind might have actually died down a little bit. I'm hoping. But Peeps right now is really checking things out. Found a mouse nest earlier, so he's really going to town. Oh man, gorgeous out here today. Next thing's next. Let's get our shelter up. Forget how big this is, but I believe it's a 7. Not the biggest thing in the world, as you can see, but it will be a very nice shelter. So we're gonna get this tied up. The fire's gonna be there. I want this to be right up here. We're probably gonna tie it right to this wall. We're gonna take this. We're gonna go from here. Take it this way. I'm gonna go straight to here. I'm gonna tie a I don't remember what this knot's called. It goes 2 on the inside and 1 on the outside. And I'm gonna put a loop in it so I can undo it really easy in the morning. But it's a taut line hitch, that's what it's called. Tied a taut line hitch there. We have some plastic loops here. I have myself a little toggle right here. Move our sticks this way. Put our plastic loop through the loop here. Toggle in there. Just like that. Up a little bit. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. I need a little baby toggle. We have rustic loop here. We're going to pass the end of our prusik through here like this. We're gonna take our stick, pass it through so it bites on it, and then we're just gonna pull our prusik so it's tight like that. And that is it. Now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna stake it down here in the back. So I got a prusik loop there. Prusik loop goes through here, creates that there. This here, I tied a little loop on there, so my stake goes through that like this, pulls back here, gets staked in the ground, just like that, which I actually need to bring it this way a little bit, but that's okay. Just like that. There we go. Got both of them pounding the ground. Get the prusik up there, tarp is there. It doesn't create much of a lean, but that is okay because this is all I'm gonna need under here. It's gonna be just fine for Pierre and I. Plus, having the fire here, kind of right here, it's gonna bounce the heat around in here and force it that way, and the reflective there is gonna reflect my body heat back to me. Plus, it's gonna reflect the fire back to me as well. All right, everybody, I am super happy to be out here, super thrilled with what we got done today. I've been just kind of hanging out, chilling. Pierre and I went for another little walk through the woods, found a lot more building materials. So I'm thinking they're bigger pieces, they're heavier duty pieces. I was thinking we make another wall. At the same time, I'm almost thinking we should tear apart the teepee shelter. But then again, I have that awesome sleep shelter that I want to show you. What do I do next? I think what I want to do next is I want to go get those building materials, get them up here, and then see what I want to do next after that. I think that's what we're going to do next. Alrighty, everybody, now that it's starting to get dark out, which the GoPro does a very good job of lightening things up. But anyways, we are going to take this shelter. We're going to lay down my mat here. We're going to move the firewood over. We're going to get that going. Then I'm going to show you that very special thing for bedding that I have that I'm really excited to share with you. Stay tuned. Let's get going. So this is something I actually haven't tried yet much. We're just going to take some dry leaves, and we're just going to try to start it with this fire. This is a ferro rod that I have, an Uberleben ferro striker. We're just going to kind of put it here in the middle like this. We're going to see if we can get something to catch. Got to dry some of it out first. I'm hoping it'll go up. Ooh. Might just do it. Come on. Got this. Some actual sticks on there. Hopefully they're all gonna dry out because it's been a little wet around lately. Little stuff on. So you can actually start a fire with just leaves. All this dry stuff. I'm actually impressed. I really didn't think it was gonna go up. Well, we're gonna find out. We gotta keep it going. So since Pierre is with me tonight, we're gonna be using this right here. This is a ground reflective sheet. Typically I'll lay this on something, but for tonight, we are just going to lay it out like this. Triple it up in the back for Pierre. Under it so don't lose it. And this right here is what we are going to be using for the night. It's a little hard to see now, it's dark, but that's okay. I can already feel the heat from the fire hitting this and coming down, which is gonna be perfect. Now in the middle of the night, if it gets way too cold, I'm actually gonna take this and use it as a tarp. I'm gonna connect it from this corner to there. It's gonna be very interesting, but we're gonna find out. It just depends on the dog. Like me, I know I'm gonna be fine, so I'm not really worried about it. I love this light. But anyways, that's what's going on. I hope that's gonna be okay for you to see. I got a new light, and I'm hoping it's gonna help me film a lot better on the woods. This right here is the new object that I wanted to share with you. Super excited about it. I'll show you all these fancy knots and stuff in the morning once I wrap it all back up. But I am so just jazzed about showing you all this. That's gonna unwind like that. This is gonna lay out flat. Now in here, in this little flap, I got a bunch of cordage. Now that cordage is also gonna go with this tarp. So we're actually gonna add this to the tarp in the morning, but not as of right now. So I'm actually gonna put this inside of this bag so I don't forget it. Anyway, so this here is going to be my bed for the night. My Pierre's bed for the night. This is gonna unfold like this, and there we have it. This is gonna be an entire ground sheet bed. Now this is a cloth that does several different things. I am super pumped about this, but inside of it, I stuck the same reflective, a wool blanket, and then I'm gonna have my sleeping bag if it gets too cold. Now, since the fire is that way, I'm actually going to flip this over so my head is this way, not the other way. Yeah. This will be simple enough to show you in the morning. But this right here is gonna be my bed for the night. I think I might have to push that fire this way some more. But Peachy Boys and I are gonna be snuggling in under here inside of this thing with the wool blanket. Now, like I said, I do have my sleeping bag that I'm probably gonna roll out because it's only gonna be about 20 degrees tonight. And I really don't want to get freezing cold, and Pierre, I don't want him being really cold. So sleeping bag is gonna go out as of right now. But I'm gonna try not to use it tonight. I know that's a bit hard to see. I'm hoping you're gonna be able to see all that. But I am super excited to try this out tonight and have fun doing it. Now, as you can see, got my fire going over there. Really excited about that as well. It got going. It did end up starting with those leaves. I just had to put more leaves on it. Now I have this stuff here, which is pretty wet. So I'm gonna throw it next to it and a bunch of logs that I'm gonna throw on it to get it dried out right now. It's a little smoky. But the heat from that fire is gonna bounce off our shelter in there. It's gonna keep us nice and warm tonight. Had to put Pierre's little jacket on. So not only can I see him now, but he's reflective. We got the fire going. He's gonna be nice and warm. Definitely bouncing that way, which is awesome. I'm gonna go turn that lantern off for a while. I know it's a bit hard to see in the dark because of the GoPro, but I will most likely hang out by the fire for a while, do a couple things. If I hear any animals or anything, I'll turn the GoPro on. But I am mainly just gonna chill, hang out by the fire, and I'll catch you all in the morning. This is pretty nice. Oh man, I don't know if this is gonna turn out or not, but I had to get up. It is cold. Look at my breath. I just went to go check Pierre's water and it is frozen. That's how cold it is out here right now. Crazy, crazy. I'm gonna go snuggle up by the fire over there. Ooh, camera's all fogged. But I'm gonna snuggle up by the fire. Good night. Hey buddy. How you doing? You a little cold this morning? Huh? Yeah? Well, I can tell you what. It's definitely cold out this morning. We did pretty good last night. My sleep arrangement down here did great. I ended up putting my sleeping bag inside of it. Did so much better. I think next time I would get rid of the wool blanket on the inside, and I'll throw it on the top though, because the top got a little cold because of the weight of that outer canvas sheet right there. Other than that, it didn't do too bad. It got down 20 last night. It was cold. It was very, very cold. I got the fire going pretty good this morning, radiating a bunch of heat because it was pretty much out. And I was too lazy to get back up. But once Pierre started shaking, I ended up getting back up. Other than that, went pretty good last night. We're just gonna chill by the fire till it gets light out, and then we can start getting some other stuff around. Let's do it. Oh, he definitely can't see me. I was hoping you could see me. Peepsy Boys is just laying around right next to me. Just snuggling. He finally gave up. Let's turn this light on. Nope. Nope, wrong light. There we go. Hi, you can see me. See, Peepsy Boys is just snuggling right on his little blankie. And then we got the old fire going, keeping us nice and warm. Fire all of a sudden got nice and warm. Peeps sat up, looked at me like, that's different. It finally caught that top log. Oh, there you go, you can see it. That was a leaf. I finally caught that top log on fire. I've been waiting for a while on that one. If you've never been outside camping, I highly recommend get outside and go camping. It's pretty fun. Now, once it gets a little cold like it is this year, it can be challenging, that's for sure. But as long as you have like an emergency space blanket or a reflective of heat of some sort, you'll be okay, I promise. Peeps. Whoa. Whoa, what's it, peeps? Peeps, you better get it, peeps. Peepsy boys. Is this fire nice and warm now, Peepsy boys? It's melting everything, isn't it? Yes. Getting the frost off of you. Got a nice fire going. Well, good morning, everybody. It is officially, finally daylight out. Just took a little bit of a nap. It's kind of nice to actually be able to fall asleep, you know, not be so cold. Peepsy boys are starting to shake a little bit, so we're gonna get this fire cranking, get her all built back up, get them nice and toasty warm. And in the meantime, we're actually gonna lay this bed out on the bench, and I'm gonna show you kind of what I got going here. One thing, note to self, and I knew I should have brought this and I didn't, was a full-size pillow. This pillow works. Is my outdoor pillow, Outdoor Vitals pillow, sorry. It works. It's for a hammock. I personally cannot sleep on the ground like that with that little tiny pillow like that, but it's okay. It worked. I had part of the blanket while Pierre snuggled with me last night to throw up there, so it all worked out. And then number two, I knew I needed this and I just forgot it. Crocs. These boots are a pain to get on and off at night, so Crocs would have been perfect to have. That's okay. Two mistakes that I wish I brought with me out in the woods. There you go. All right, now let's get this bed up. All righty. Let's have a little chit chat, you know. So, like I said already, I buy a lot of stuff lately from the Pathfinder school. That backpack that I have hanging over there is from the Pathfinder school. The saw I have is from the Pathfinder school. The water bottle I have is from the Pathfinder school. Dave Canterbury is awesome. He is like my hero for sure. The stuff he comes up with, the mindset he has, it is beautiful and I absolutely love it. So you gotta go check out his videos. He used to say a lot, 2 is 1, 1 is none. But now he started saying 2 is 1, 1 is none, but 3 is better. Think about that. If I have 2 knives with me, pocket knife, ooh, I gotta screw over. A pocket knife, an actual knife. I have 2 knives with me, okay? This one may not be ready for splitting wood, but the other one is. And I can do small tasks with this knife. But just think, if I have the one knife and the one knife breaks, I have a backup. That is the mindset that he has. Water bottles. If I have 2 water bottles, I can boil one and drink out of one. If I only have one, well, I'm kind of in trouble because I gotta boil, then I gotta let it cool down, then I can drink some water. But no, if I have 2 water bottles, I can boil one, drink out of one, dump that hot water into one, boil some more, and keep it going back and forth get hydrated again. So that is kind of his mindset. Well, anyways, he came up with this as well. This thing is pretty neat. So it has a flap, flaps over, a bunch of grommets. And inside of here, I put my reflective, my wool blanket, and then my sleeping bag. Now, in the future, I'm most likely not gonna have the sleeping bag because I'm looking at getting a warmer wool blanket for 20 degrees. Hey, Pierre, come here, buddy. Good boy. Come here. What'd you do? Try to take your outfit off already? Did you take your outfit off? You did, didn't you? Alright, let me get it off. Oh, there you go. Is that better? Yeah. Is that better? Is that better? Are you so happy now? Oh, is this so much better? Well, anyway, so he actually designed this. So he has grommets on the front, grommets on the back. Now this is a sleeve. It's not like a sleeping bag. No, it's a sleeve. So in other words, it has a hole on this side and it has a hole on this side. So keep that in mind. Now you can stitch it up. He shows this in one of his videos. He puts string through there. You can put sticks through there, stuff like that. And you can do it here. For a raised bed, you can stuff it full of leaves, use it as an insulating bed to sleep on top of, all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm going to be using this a lot out in the woods. I'm really excited about it, but that fire. But it's not going to be for lightweight hiking, that's for sure. This thing, I believe, weighs 35 pounds itself. So it's a beefy setup, that's for sure. Now, I didn't want to use it with my sleeping bag last night, but it just got too cold where I had to. I didn't have a choice at that point. My wool blanket that I have is not really meant for that cold of weather, so I had to. But as long as I can get a nice bivvy or sleeping bag set up like that, I can stuff that inside of here and it's gonna turn out to be fantastic. So that's kind of the plan in the future. You'll be seeing all that. But I wanted to share that with you, showing you kind of what I'm gonna be using and how I'm gonna be using it. You can see it's a nice little liner. Opens up only on the portion right there, just like that. Opens up like that. I have my wool blanket, like I said earlier. I have my reflective in there. Now I can just crawl on in here and go right to sleep. Or I could just leave all this in here like I showed earlier, like this, stuff it full of leaves or whatnot. Now I have a nice long bed. I mean, it is long. I am 5'9", 5'10", so, and this is plenty over my head and past my feet right now. So that is what really nice about this thing, and I absolutely like it. It worked very well last night, and I was super glad to have it. It ran me about 65 bucks, so it was really not that expensive either, which is really nice. Ooh, smoky, smoky. I got a bunch of stuff I'm trying to burn out. But anyway, so I wanted to share with you really quick kind of how I'm gonna wrap this up. But that's the head. So I want to fold this about halfway. And this side as well. About halfway. That wool blanket, I believe, is flat in there, so I gotta make sure on that. There we go. Now I'm gonna fold the other side halfway to meet it in the middle. Just like so. Two big ones, which one is gonna ridgeline and then one I can cut for smaller pieces. I have 4 small pieces and I took the other 2 out. You really want 6, you want 1 in your pocket, you want 1 for the outside, you want 4 for your tarp. I'm not doing that setup like Dave is doing, so I left 2 long ones for ridgelines and tying things off. I have 4 for my tarp, but 1 is not going to be attached to my tarp at all times. I'm going to use it for the outside of this setup, which I'm going to show you that knot here in just a second. Now I don't remember what it's called, so I have to do a full video, a separate video on this knot setup, but it is a very cool setup. We're gonna set these pieces of cordage down here for right now. And then we're gonna get this rolled up. Folded it in half already. That's a little bulky on that side, but I think we're gonna make it work. We're gonna kind of fold it up to get these ends out of the way. And then we're gonna start rolling real tight. The tighter you can get this, the better off you are going to be. Now my wool blanket is a little crooked in here, so it might be a little weird, but that is okay. We're gonna make it work. All right, peeps, watch out, buddy. Watch out, buddy. Make sure it's all nice and neat. Hold it right together. Now, on this last flat portion over here, we're gonna tidy this up. Then we're going to fold this whole end in like this. And now the reason why you want to do that is because now water can't get inside of here. And then you got kind of a little storage for all your string, minus the one piece. So I put all my string there like that. You can put tent stakes in here, your pillow, whatever you really want inside of this thing, you can keep right there. Now we got our piece of string here, which folds this way. And then we got our two ends over here. Now I do not remember what this is called, so you're gonna have to bear with me in this video. You're gonna take this loop here, you're gonna fold it back, and you're gonna grab the two inner strands to create another loop like this. Then you're gonna take one piece of your paracord, you're gonna pass it through it like that. Then you're going to take the other piece and you're going to pass it through the other side to create an X shape inside, if I can get it in there. It's not the tightest setup, so it is a little weird, but you can see here I have created a knot. This loop bites onto these two pieces of rope, and when you pull the ends, it gets tighter and tighter. So all you gotta do, you gotta wrap this sucker up tight as you can get it, and you just gotta pull your ends, and you can see it just gets tighter and tighter, and it doesn't slip very easily, which is very nice, as you can see there. So, like I said, the wool blanket is on this side. It's not really in the middle. So next time you do this, just kind of lay it out flat. I kind of messed this one up, but that is okay because we're just going to make it work. But yeah, that is how my bedroll is going to be set up. So I know that was a little quick. I hope that was okay to explain all that. If you need me to explain it better, let me know in the comments below, because I'm sure I just ran through that and it didn't sound very good or professional like, but I ain't worried about that. I gave you the gist of it. I think you got what I was talking about, so let's just make a full separate video on this setup. I'm going to use it out here a few more times before I do that, because I want to know what I can change and what I need to leave. But other than that, it's going good. So here is what we're going to do next. We are going to, I built the fire up to get some real hot coals. I'm gonna put some more wood in there to get some more coals and get some of the smaller stuff burnt. And I'm gonna start taking off this layer of our shelter and just kind of tossing it out there for right now in one big pile. In the meantime, once my coals are done, we're gonna cook up some bacon. I got some beautiful bacon with me and I am excited. So that is what we're gonna do next. I'm gonna start stripping the teepee shelter and yeah, start burning some more wood. I'll see you later. On this side, this is where some hot coals are. So, lay our skillet in there like that somehow. Right there. Wait for it to get a little warmer yet. This is where my gloves would have came in handy, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. I think right there will be fine. I love me some good old bacon. I need to get myself some tongs. Fire is definitely warm, that's for sure. We gotta cook quick. Well, guess I'm redoing the bed too. Well, shoot. I guess I'm redoing my bed as well. Almost lost my bacon. Oh, darn it. Look at that. Sucker snapped right on me. That's a bummer. I like this little bed too. It's perfectly flat. Oh well, I guess we'll make it work. Huh. This wood just rots so fast. Look at that. Sucker's drier than a bone. Alright, better check my bacon. Getting there. How do you like your bacon? Leave it in the comments below. Do you like it super crispy? Not as crispy? A little chewy? How do you like it? Personally, I like my bacon really crispy, but I don't have to be. The bed breaking like that, that's the reason why we're revamping the teepee shelter. Trying to go get some good wood. Stuff that's not going to break on me very easy. The walls don't really matter. The lean-to sticks don't really matter as long as it doesn't get too heavy in the back. The teepee shelter matters, and so do the beds. That's what's holding you up and keeping you safe. That's almost done right there. That's looking good. Oh yeah. Peach Boys is excited. Aren't you, Peach? I got some more to cook, so I want to get these smaller pieces out. Those are done. I'm just going to throw them in my cup right now. I think I'm going to leave these how they are. These look good. I'm going to leave it right next to the fire so it stays warm. I'm going to throw some more in. Alright, everybody. Peach Boys, you better come here and come get some bacon, peeps. Peeps, you better come get some bacon. You better come here and get some bacon. Ho, ho, ho. That's a good piece. Okay. That's what I like. Nice and crispy. Beautiful goodness right here. Come here. Right here. Come here. You want a piece of bacon? Right here. Good boy. Of course, I gotta give Pierre some bacon before we go head home. But I think this is gonna conclude our little sleep out in the woods, revamping of the teepee shelter. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, because I got a lot more here I want to fix up. Plus, I have a lot more fun adventures in the future, so make sure you share it to everybody. I need some more watch hours on YouTube, and that'll be awesome. The next video is gonna be tearing down the actual teepee itself. I'm a little sad about it, a little nervous about it. and we're not gonna be able to get back again, but hey, I built it once, I can build it again. Let's make it bigger, let's make it better next time. So there you have it. I'm gonna finish eating some bacon, get my fire out, and I gotta take off for the day. Hope you all have a good week, good night, whenever you're watching this video. And I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much. I want to show you how fast and easy this is to come down. A bunch of ash on the back of that. You just gotta pull up your stakes. I think that's the hardest part of this whole shelter setup. Pull your stake up. Pull your other stake up. And then it's as simple as move your prusik loop in, take your toggle out, and it falls right off the shelter. Same thing on this side. Take your toggle out, falls right off the shelter. Look at that. Then I'm just gonna take it, we're gonna lay it down, fold it in half, make sure it's even. And just like that, your shelter is down. Just like that, you got your stakes at the bottom, your shelter in there, and then me personally, I keep this ridge line. Depends on what I'm doing for the evening. If I'm just going out, I use it with Pierre. I tie him up. It's kind of like my leash. That's why I got the big old carabiner on the end. If he's not with me, or like last night, I have a nice, good, clean area that I don't really have to tie him up. I use it as ridge line. That's why I put the prusik loops on it. So I always keep this on the outside of my bag. I don't have it in my tarp shelter setup. All I do is I keep this clipped right here on the outside of my bag, and that is ready to go for the next time I want to use it. Nice and easy, nice and simple. That's what I like.